Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days, I've been driving the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia Limited. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline-4 as well as a hybrid system, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be making this video because I've spent the last week, and actually it's been more like 9 days I've spent with this Toyota Crown Signia. This is all new for the 2025 model year. It's technically replacing the Toyota Venza, but we'll talk about later on why that's kind of not the case. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you would like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months early, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. You get early access to all of my reviews. But let's get back to that hybrid drivetrain. Well, that is the only way that the Toyota Crown Signia comes. You can only get them in hybrid. Power-wise, it's been fine. It hasn't really left me desiring more, but it's also not going to blow your hair back. So adjust properly and you won't be disappointed. It is a little obnoxious when it switches between battery and gasoline while parked. It kind of lurches a little bit, but a lot of Toyota products are like that. And that's always been one of the downsides. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. Again, I don't love this feature. However, it operates properly here. It is a hybrid, so CVTs feel more at home in hybrids, so I didn't really mind it. Last but not least, the Toyota Crown Signia Limited is all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Toyota Crown Signia? Well, this is where it starts to depart from its Venza predecessor because it drives really like a lifted sedan. It has sedan characteristics. It's more nimble than an SUV. It has a little bit stiffer of a ride than an SUV. It doesn't ride super great on the highway, and there is a decent amount of wind noise on the highway, but I wouldn't say any worse than any of its competitors. But it drives and feels like a car. Visibility is pretty good like a car, and overall I've been really happy with the driving experience. Fuel economy has been pretty good. I've averaged 31.1 miles to the gallon, which for a larger vehicle in my book isn't too shabby. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now this gauge cluster is shared with a lot of other Toyota products, and I think that it's a little bit busy, a little bit clustered, if you will, and I don't like how you can have 3 different presets. It's kind of agitating to set these presets, and I'm just not a big fan. On the steering wheel on the left, we have our go back button, phone options, selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our volume and voice commands, and off to the right we have our adaptive cruise control as well as skip track and mode. Off to the left we have a climate control vent, automatic high beams, headlight washers, and windshield wiper defrosters. Very nice to get all of that. Then we do have our gauge dimmer switches, power tailgate, and gas cap release. And moving out of the door, we have 2 levels of memory seats, power folding mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have our infotainment display. This is shared again with pretty much every other Toyota currently on the market. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And we don't get any special features. Besides the camera system, we do have a 360 camera, and we get a top-down camera, which has been really nice for maneuvering and backing in and things like that, so I'm a big fan. Down below, we do have the volume knob, which is slightly infuriating because the power button is directional, so I've just been leaving it straight up and down and then adjusting the volume on the steering wheel. 2 climate vents and our climate controls. We do have dual zone climate, we have a heated steering wheel, and we have heated and ventilated seats, so all the goodies found down there. Then we do have a wireless charger, which is vertical. This has actually been pretty helpful. Our camera view button, 2 USB-Cs, our shifter. This is shared with like the Prius and now Lexus products. Our drive mode select for Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. Traction control off, EV mode, auto holding brake, and power parking brake. And then cup holders off to the right. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And unfortunately it fails, as we tested last year when this vehicle first came out. Then we do have a center console with an additional USB-C found in there. And the seats. The seats have been comfortable, heated, ventilated, power, and memory, and I think they've been fantastic. However, speaking of seats, we actually do have just only 1 more row of seats. we just have back seats. So let's go do some back seat reviews. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Toyota Crown Signia, and this is a huge win for the Toyota Crown Signia. I fit 4 of my adult friends in this car to go to the hobby store to buy some RC car parts. I was driving and I had 3 other people in the car, and they're all grown guys like me, and we all fit very, very happily. Can't be said about all SUVs. And this doesn't have a 3rd row, so it's not trying to squeeze in a 3rd row. 9 out of 10 3-row SUVs, the 3rd row is absolutely atrocious. It's awful. It's terrible. The Toyota Crown Signia doesn't even try to have a 3rd row. It just says, let's do 2 rows, fantastic, and call it a day. And that's exactly what they've done. We also do have heated seats back here, JBL speakers, 2 USB-C chargers, and a center console with fold-down cup holders. It really is a win-win back here. You're gonna have plenty of space. I'm 5'11", I'm not a small guy, and I fit back here very comfortably. So, if that means anything to you, this is a very, very good back seat. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, but then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Toyota Crown Signia, little button under here, and it is a power liftgate, which is fantastic. Not a whole lot of station wagons have that. Once we are back here, tons and tons of space. We do have handles up here to release the 2nd row, which is fantastic. The only thing I would have really liked was a 12-volt outlet. I was actually hoping it would have a standard wall outlet, but beggars can't be choosers. And I had this car over Christmas this year, and I built a little slot car track for my dad, and I was able to haul it to my parents' house in the back of the Toyota Crown Signia. So very, very cool to see that. We can come down here as well. We have a tiny bit of extra storage, but that's pretty much it. And we do get this privacy cover as well. So very cool to see all of that. Button up here, you can either close it or close it and lock it, but we'll just close it here today. Power actuated all the way back down, and you'll love to see it. I forgot to mention too, once you do fold down the back seats, you actually get these little ramp stops on the back of the 2nd row. Very, very interesting. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is kind of a polarizing part of the car. I like the look of it, especially the tail end. I'm not in love with the front end, a little too Prius-y, but I like the overall look of it, and it is just a lifted station wagon. That's what it is. That is what it is. People keep trying to categorize this, even Toyota themselves, as an SUV. This is a lifted station wagon, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. I also don't love the paint color of this particular one. I would go with their red color. I think the red is a little bit more enticing, a little bit prettier, but that's just my opinion. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Toyota Crown Signia for the last 7 days? Well, like I said, 9 actually. Well, I've loved it. I've really loved it. I've really, really loved it. The only downside, seriously, that I have found has been the fact that when you have to press the brake to put it into gear, you have to really, really press it. Just putting your foot on the brake will not let you select the gear. Every single time I've turned on this car, it keeps saying, depress brake to change gear. And I'm like, I am! But it doesn't register. Besides that, this car has been fantastic. And the reason I titled this video as No Deep Cuts is that this car really is a greatest hits album from Toyota, because it is just a lifted station wagon. It's everything I really want in a daily driver car. Is this going to shock your neighbor when you buy one? No. If you pull up to the red carpet, are jaws gonna hit the floor? Not quite. But this car has the body and essence of the Subaru Outback. This car has the taillights of a Dodge Hornet, which I think are quite attractive, even though the rest of that car isn't. It has the name from the Ford Crown Victoria. It has the interior of a Lexus. It has the front end of a Prius and the drivetrain of a Camry. It has the JBL sound system from the Tacoma. It has headlight washers like a Saab. And it gets the same fuel economy as the Volvo XC90 Recharge that I had last year. This car is an amalgamation of every other good car. It's just all put together into one. And that's what makes this car so good. It's not great in any particular category, but it's so good in so many different categories. This is a tri-sport athlete. This is a Swiss Army knife. This is a black t-shirt that could fit into any occasion and any outfit. That is what makes this car so good. But there is one more thing, and that has to do with the badge up at the front. Toyota doesn't need to merge with anyone to continue to be successful. So in light of recent news, it's another good thing. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Shots fired. Thank you to Toyota for allowing me to borrow their Toyota Crown Signia for the last 9 days. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.